Live from New Delhi, you're watching DG India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Zelenskyy optimistic on US peace plan, says talks to end conflict with Russia soon to take place, removes chief of staff after anti-graft raids. Military activity ramps up at US naval base in Puerto Rico amid Venezuela tensions. Also reportedly, Trump speaks to Maduro and discussed a possible meeting. Airbus recalls 6,000 flights for immediate repairs, threatening global flight disruption. India's aviation regulator DGCA directs no Airbus to fly until problem resolved. Cyclone Ditwah wreaks havoc in Sri Lanka. India extends humanitarian aid. Storm now intensifies over Bay of Bengal, heads toward Tamil Nadu, Puducherry with heavy rain forecast. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy said on Friday that talks between Ukrainian and US officials on proposals to end the conflict with Russia would take place soon. In the video address, Zelenskyy said senior Ukrainian officials representing the military, foreign ministry and intelligence would participate in the talks on how to end the conflict, which is approaching its 4-year mark. Meanwhile, Zelenskyy signed a decree to dismiss his powerful chief of staff on Friday, hours after the close ally had his home searched by anti-corruption agents. Zelenskyy said Andriy Yermak had resigned and that he would consider his replacement on Saturday. Yermak was heading Ukraine's negotiation team at fraught US-backed peace talks.
The
office of the President of Ukraine will be rebooted. The head of the office, Andriy Yermak, has submitted a resignation letter. Meetings with the American side will take place in the near future.
Russia has received the main parameters of the peace framework discussed by US and Ukrainian negotiators in Geneva, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said on Saturday. Peskov also said Russian President Vladimir Putin is scheduled to meet with Steve Witkoff, US President Donald Trump's special envoy, in Moscow in the first half of next week. He added that Russia remains committed to negotiations on Ukraine issue, but does not intend to publicly reveal the details of the talks. Earlier, Russian President Putin said that the US proposed list of points could form a basis for future agreements, while Ukraine had agreed in principle to the framework agreement, saying that certain clauses still require future discussion. Also Friday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy said he will hold talks with the US side in the near future. Amid the growing tension with Venezuela, US military aircraft movements intensified at the former Roosevelt Roads Naval Base as personnel unloaded equipment from warplanes amid Washington's stepped-up deployments in the Caribbean since August. The latest activity followed sightings of CH-53E Super Stallion helicopter, while an Air Force AC-130 gunship also landed at the facility, which has become a key hub for regional operations. On Thursday, President Donald Trump said the United States would very soon take action to stop suspected Venezuelan drug traffickers on land. Although reportedly, US President Donald Trump spoke with Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro last week and discussed a possible meeting between them in the United States. US President Donald Trump made a major intervention into Honduran politics days before the country's presidential election, pardoning a convicted ex-leader and threatening to cut US support if his preferred candidate loses. Hernandez, who led the Central American nation from 2014 to 2022, was accused by US prosecutors of facilitating the import of some 400 tons of cocaine into the United States. He was extradited to the United States just weeks after leaving office, when the current president, leftist Xiomara Castro, came to power. In a post on Truth Social, Trump reiterated his backing for Honduran presidential candidate Nasri Tito Asfura of the conservative National Party and said that if he doesn't win, the United States will not be throwing good money. Federal troubles that loomed over Northwestern University in Evanston for months seem to be over. US President Donald Trump's administration on Friday said it has reached an agreement with Northwestern University to restore hundreds of millions of dollars in research funds and close pending investigations into the school. The Chicago area university will pay 75 million US dollars to the US government as part of the deal. The Trump administration in April froze nearly $800 million in research funding for Northwestern after Republicans in the House of Representatives accused the university of not doing enough to address anti-Semitism, including during campus protests against the Gaza conflict. An Afghan man accused of shooting two National Guard members will be charged with first-degree murder, a U.S. official said on Friday after one of the soldiers died of wounds. U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia said that the other charges would be filed against 29-year-old Ramanullah Lakanwal, who ambushed the soldiers from West Virginia National Guard near the White House on Wednesday. Earlier, Trump described the shooting as a terrorist attack and declared he would freeze migration from third world countries to the U.S. Two members of the National Guard were shot and seriously wounded on Wednesday, just blocks from the White House in Washington, D.C. United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Saturday said that the Trump administration has paused visa issuance for all individuals traveling on Afghan passports, asserting that Washington has no higher priority than protecting the Americans. This comes days after the United States announced an indefinite halt to all immigration requests involving Afghan nationals following a shooting incident near the White House in Washington, D.C., in which the suspect was identified as an Afghan national. Earlier on Friday, the U.S. has announced a sweeping permanent pause on migration from what President Donald Trump called third world countries following a deadly attack near the White House. United States Citizenship and Immigration Services has frozen Afghan-related cases and ordered a full review of green card applications from countries of concern, even as new data shows most detained migrants have no criminal convictions. More in this report.
The United States is tightening immigration policy once again, this time with some of its broadest restrictions yet. US President Donald Trump on Thursday announced a permanent pause on migration from all third world countries, following the killing of a National Guard member near the White House. Trump did not specify which countries fall under the category or explain the scope of a permanent pause. He added that the restrictions would also cover cases approved under Biden administration. The move comes after investigators said Wednesday's shooting involved an Afghan national who entered the US in 2021 under a resettlement program.
This heinous atrocity reminds us that we have no greater national security priority than ensuring that we have full control over the people that enter and remain in our country. For the most part, we don't want them. They come in illegally, have a lot of problems. Their countries force them in because their countries are smart. They don't want them. Let's give them to the Americans to take care of.
In alignment with the administration's goal of reducing what it calls illegal and disruptive populations, United States Citizenship and Immigration Services Director Joseph Edlow said he has ordered a thorough review of all green card applications from countries of concern, which, according to a June 2025 order, includes Afghanistan, Burma, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen, Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. Green Card, officially known as a permanent resident card, grants ability to live and work permanently in the United States, freedom to work without an employer specific visa, eligibility to sponsor certain family members for their own green cards, access to government benefits such as Social Security and Medicare, qualification for in state tuition at U.S. public universities, a clear pathway to apply for U.S. citizenship after meeting residency requirements. Meanwhile, United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement data shows a more nuanced picture. Over two-thirds of the roughly 53,000 people detained as of November 15 had no criminal convictions, raising questions about how broadly the new measures may reach. Critics warn the reaction could sweep in thousands who entered legally. Nishroy Roy's report for DD India.
Over 1,000 Japanese citizens rallied outside the Prime Minister's office in Tokyo on Friday night, demanding to retract her recent remarks regarding Taiwan. The demonstration marked the third consecutive weekly rally by citizens concerned about Japan's shifting security and foreign policy direction. Her remarks sparked public debate over how the country should navigate rising regional tensions. Participants voiced worries about Japan's defense posture, constitutional interpretation, and national priorities, arguing that dialogue-focused diplomacy remains vital for the East Asian stability. Police officers from Hong Kong's Disaster Victim Identification Unit arrived at Wong Fuk Court in Tai Po on Saturday, following a fire that claimed at least 128 lives in a high-rise apartment complex fire. The death toll is likely to rise further, with 200 others still unaccounted for days after the tragedy. Meanwhile, the Independent Commission Against Corruption said a total of 8 individuals were arrested, including an engineering consultant, a scaffolding subcontractor, and an intermediary. The fire broke out on Wednesday, quickly spreading to 7 of the 8 32-story buildings wrapped in bamboo scaffolding, green mesh and foam insulation during ongoing renovations. It might be a bad news for air travelers. This weekend, you may face flights disruptions worldwide, as Europe's Airbus ordered immediate repairs to 6,000 of its widely used A320 family of jets in a sweeping recall, affecting more than half the global fleet, threatening upheaval during the busiest travel weekend of the year in the United States and disruption worldwide. The setback appears to be among the largest recalls affecting Airbus in its 55-year history and comes weeks after the A320 overtook the Boeing 737 as the most delivered model. At the time, Airbus issued its bulletin to the plane's more than 350 operators. Some 3,820 family jets, they were in the air. The fix mainly involves reverting to the earlier software and is relatively simple, but must be carried out before the planes can fly again, other than repositioning to repair centers. Airlines from the United States to South America, Europe, India and New Zealand warned the repairs could potentially cause flight delays or cancellations. India's aviation watchdog DGCA has issued a major safety directive to all airlines operating Airbus A320 family aircraft. Following a global alert from the European aviation regulator, the DGCA has ordered that these aircraft must not fly until crucial software or hardware updates are completed. The move comes after a concerning discovery that intense solar radiation could corrupt flight control data mid-air, potentially triggering an unexpected pitch down of the aircraft. Airlines have been told to act immediately, ensuring all mandated modifications are installed before the fleet returns to service. Earlier, Indigo and Air India are the major Indian operators of A320 family aircraft, A320, A319 and A321, which form the bulk of India's narrow-body aircraft fleet. Both the airlines said that they are aware of the notification from Airbus and are implementing the prescribed rectification action. A majority of these aircraft will require the software change, which is likely to lead to brief groundings, as the required changes would take a couple of hours per aircraft. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Russian President Vladimir Putin to visit India on December 4th and 5th. Stay tuned for more details. We will tell you about how one of the world's fastest growing economies, India, is witnessing a strong GDP growth. And the 56th International Film Festival of India concludes with a grand ceremony in Goa.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
फुल वर्कआउट हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
You're watching DD India Live. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj. India has announced that Russian President Vladimir Putin is set to undertake a state visit to Delhi on the 4th and 5th of December for the 23rd India-Russia Annual Summit. The visit will present an opportunity for the leaders of the two nations to not only take the extensive India-Russia ties forward in areas like defense and energy, but also take up global and regional issues of mutual interest, such as the Ukraine conflict.
The last annual India-Russia summit took place between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Vladimir Putin in July 2024 in Moscow. Now it's the Russian leader's turn to visit Delhi. According to India's Ministry of External Affairs, the Russian president will pay a state visit to India from 4th to the 5th of December. The visit is at the invitation of Prime Minister Modi. It will mark 23rd India-Russia Annual Summit. President Putin will hold talks with Prime Minister Modi during the visit. President Draupadi Murmu will also receive the Russian leader and host a banquet in his honor. The visit will provide an opportunity for the leadership of India and Russia to review progress in bilateral ties. It will set the vision for strengthening the special and privileged strategic partnership. It will also provide an opportunity to exchange views on regional and global issues of mutual interest. The Kremlin has also issued a statement announcing the visit, saying a number of unspecified intergovernmental and commercial documents would be signed. Ahead of Putin's state visit, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar visited Moscow on the 19th of November and met his counterpart Sergei Lavrov. Minister Jaishankar had indicated that several agreements were close to completion and their finalization would add more substance and texture to the relationship. Delhi and Moscow have been long-standing friends ever since India's independence. The strategic partnership was upgraded in 2010 to a special and privileged strategic partnership during the visit of the Russian leader to India. In 2024, Prime Minister Modi was conferred with Russia's highest state decoration, the Order of St. Andrew the Apostle I, called for his outstanding contribution to India-Russia ties. Prime Minister Modi has spoken of establishing lasting peace in Ukraine ever since the conflict began, and the issue is likely to be discussed during Putin's visit to Delhi as well. Other issues likely to be taken up, including India buying additional defense supplies from Russia, such as the S-400 air defense systems after Operation Sindoor, Russian energy supplies, which led to the US imposing punitive tariffs on Delhi, and boosting bilateral trade, investments, and other exchanges. Bureau Report, DD India.
After days of battering rain and winds under the influence of Cyclone Ditwah, Sri Lanka is expected to see a considerable reduction in rainfall by tomorrow. As per latest reports, the cyclonic storm was located 70 kilometers northwest of Trincomalee and is projected to move north-northwest toward the Tamil Nadu coast. The Department of Irrigation has warned that the risk of major floods has increased. Authorities have also sounded a level 3 warning, hinting at possibility of more landslides owing to the relentless rains received so far. The death toll stands at 69, with 34 missing and thousands affected. India has expanded its emergency assistance under Operation Sagar Bandhu. A special aircraft carrying humanitarian aid received by the Sri Lanka Air Force early this morning, with another flight due shortly. This follows relief already handed over by INS Vikrant and INS Udayagiri yesterday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also expressed condolences and reaffirmed India's commitment to supporting Sri Lanka as conditions deteriorate. Continuing India's humanitarian assistance to Sri Lanka, taking to social media platform X, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said, Operation Sagar Bandhu unfolds. Indian Air Force C-130J plane carrying approximately 12 tons of humanitarian aid, including tents, tarpaulins, blankets, hygiene kits and ready-to-eat food items, lands in Colombo. As India expanded its humanitarian outreach to Sri Lanka on Saturday, Jaishankar said another Indian Air Force MCC IL-76 aircraft landed in Colombo with 9 tons relief material, 2 urban search and rescue teams comprising 80 National Disaster Response Force personnel. A total of around 27 tons of relief material delivered by air and sea. More is on the way. As the storm intensifies, the India Meteorological Department had issued red alert declared for parts of Tamil Nadu on today as Cyclone Ditwah slowly moved towards the North Tamil Nadu Puducherry coast, bringing heavy rainfall and strong winds. Heavy to very heavy rainfall is likely to occur at isolated locations in the districts of Tamil Nadu as well as in Puducherry. As per IMD, Cyclone Ditwah is currently active over the Bay of Bengal, was positioned 430 kilometers south of Chennai. The 56th edition of the International Film Festival of India concluded with a grand closing ceremony celebrating cinema. At the fest, actors Rajat Kapoor, Deepthi Naval and Revati walked the red carpet for their film Raat Akeli Hai. In an exclusive conversation with DD India, they spoke about the film and their creative journey, praising IFFI as a platform for showcasing diverse cinema. Let's take a listen.
Many stars walked the red carpet during the closing day of International Film Festival of India. We had an exclusive conversation with many of them, including the star cast of Raat Akeli Hai. Let's take a listen to them. We have with us Mr. Rajat. Sir, first of all, many congratulations to yet another film. What do you think about IFFI and how important it becomes a platform when we talk about yet another movie of you being released here, premiered here?
IFFI is a great idea, and it's been there for more than 50 years. It's amazing that a festival has continued for these many years, and it's a great platform for everybody who works in independent cinema, who wants to look at cinema as an art. It's been a phenomenal platform.
Ma'am, when we talk about you coming at IFFI along with Deepthi ma'am, Revati ma'am, both of us are here. What do you think about, making a comeback among the new and the old stars?
There's never been a time out, so it's not a comeback as such. But this is the first time a film of mine in which I've worked is premiering, and extremely happy about it. Really honored.
And ma'am, what do you think about the changes that Indian cinema has seen, the years of transformation?
Things are different in a good way and also a little bit bad way, So I can't praise everything, but it's a very exciting time to be working as an actor because there's lots happening. There are experiments in subject matters, and earlier they used to say, oh, we can't make this subject because chalega nahi. So there's a lot of opportunity now. So it's an exciting time. I'm happy to be still around.
Thank you.
India's growth outlook continues to strengthen with major global and domestic institutions upgrading their projections. India's economic growth accelerated to 8.2% year-on-year in the July-September period, boosted by strong consumer spending and a front-loading of production. It's the fastest growth rate in 6 quarters and it outstripped all estimates. Time now for some sports news, and India made a powerful start to its FIH Hockey Men's Junior World Cup 2025 campaign with a 7-0 win over Chile at the Mayor Radhakrishnan Stadium in Chennai. After a delayed start, India took control early, creating several circle entries and keeping Chile under constant pressure. The team continued its dominance in the final quarter, earning a short corner that Anmol Ika converted with a sharp drag flick for the 6th goal. Captain Rohit added the 7th through a late penalty stroke. With his convincing victory, India now leads Pool B on goal difference ahead of Switzerland, while Oman and Chile remain at the bottom. Germany and Spain played out a goalless draw in the first leg of the UEFA Women's Nations League final. Germany dominated possession and created several clear chances, but Spain's goalkeeper Kata Kohl produced crucial saves throughout the match. Clara Pool hit the post, while Jules Brand and Franziska Kett also came close for the hosts. Spain, the World Cup winner, defended deep and nearly scored when Esther Gonzalez struck the post early in the second half. Germany pushed hard in stoppage time, but Kohl again denied them. The title will now be decided in the second leg in Madrid on 2nd of December. That's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.